Over the past 3 years, the Nelk Boys have grown a massive following with their YouTube videos focused on drinking, partying, and pranks. However, what started as a pranks channel eventually turned into the launch of a clothing brand with limited edition drops. And from there, they have expanded their brand to fitness, being a news outlet, running a podcast, and more recently, launching their own hard seltzer brand. In the matter of a few years, Kyle, Jesse, and the entire team has managed to switch Nelk from just being a YouTube channel to having one of the fastest growing merch brands, competing with some of the largest media outlets, and even jumping into the $4.5 billion hard seltzer market. So you may be asking yourself, just how big is Nelk's Full Send empire? In this video, we will reveal just how much Nelk is making and also try to put a number on just how much the Full Send brand is worth. Going back to 2014, the group's original revenue source was Google AdSense revenue, earning them around $5,000 per month. But this wouldn't last long. As their pranks became more controversial, the group began to see their videos getting demonetized and resulting in them earning close to nothing in ad revenue. So, after several months of making controversial pranks, Nelk decided to launch their own clothing line under the brand name Full Send. One strategy that helped separate their merch from other creators was their idea to make their clothing in a limited supply and only ever produce a design once.
Fullsend.com right now, not a lot left, and we're not restocking them ever, boys. You know how we do our merch?
After seeing the success of their first drop, having sold out relatively quickly, the group began making seasonal merch drops. And by making a limited supply with unique one-time designs for each drop, the Nelk group created a sense of exclusivity and high demand for their clothes. And this strategy of limited edition drops would pay off immensely. Each drop has gone on to sell out in minutes. Other influencers have speculated on how much Nelk may be making per drop. Last year, when Nelk was getting around 100,000 people on their site all at once, Mike Majlak believed the group would make $3 to $4 million in a matter of minutes every drop. Logan Paul had an even higher estimate, based on his understanding of merch sales and the number of visitors to the Full Send store. He estimated Nelk was making $30 to $60 million per year just off merchandise sales. However, we don't have to speculate according to company sources. Nelk sold $50 million worth of Full Send merchandise last year in 2020 and could surpass $70 million in merch sales this year alone. By knowing these yearly revenue numbers, Nelk's Full Send merchandise division could easily be valued as a $70 million business in of itself. But this is where things get interesting. On top of their e-commerce ventures, the group has also invested in personalities, bringing in Steve DeLeonardis in 2018, who became well known for his drinking videos on Instagram and goes by the name Steve Will Do It. Shortly thereafter in 2020, Nelk also brought in the prank creator Salim Surur, with co-star Jesse Sebastiani choosing to focus more on the business side of Nelk, and their other star 905 Shooter being kicked out of the group. These additions help keep Nelk as a group in front of the camera. On top of new personalities, Nelk has also continued to grow their media network by turning their Full Send Instagram page into a news outlet that reaches millions of people per day. While it may not seem like much on the surface, Nelk is setting the foundation to establish Full Send as a full-fledged media outlet, similar to what Barstool Sports had done over the past 5 years. For reference, in January of 2020, Penn National Gaming purchased a 36% stake in Barstool Sports for $163 million, giving the media company a valuation of $450 million. However, having large personalities and social media accounts isn't the only thing that Nelk has in their media division. Moving into 2021, the group has also launched a weekly Full Send podcast with Kyle Forgerd and Bob Meanery hosting it. So far, the podcast has already interviewed the likes of Dana White, Tory Lanez, and even Shaquille O'Neal. And although the podcast doesn't earn ad revenue or have any sponsorships in place, it offers yet another medium for Nelk to stay connected with their fans and help strengthen their Full Send brand into a globally recognized name. In fact, even though Nelk just launched their Full Send podcast a few months ago, they have already reached the top charts of Apple Podcasts and interviewed countless A-list celebrities. In the span of only 1 month, their podcast YouTube channel has already gotten over 11 million monthly views, which is absolutely insane and shows just how much potential it has. With podcasts like the Joe Rogan Experience signing a $100 million deal with Spotify, and Call Her Daddy signing a $60 million deal with Spotify, it's safe to say the Full Send podcast and other media assets could one day be well worth over $100 million. As of right now, the Full Send media division is conservatively worth at least $20 million. On top of being a merchandise and media-focused company, the group has also decided to expand their hard seltzer space. After all, it makes sense. One of the core themes in Nelk's videos is partying and drinking. So instead of drinking from other brands in their videos, why not use their large audience to create their own seltzer brand? And this is exactly what the Nelk Boys did. Launching in June 2021, their hard seltzer brand, Happy Dad, has already begun launching in stores on a state-by-state basis. And so far, this segment arguably has the most long-term potential for the Nelk Group. According to White Claw's VP of Marketing, about 70% of households buy beer, yet less than 9% of households buy seltzers in 2019. With that in mind, White Claw, the leading hard seltzer brand, did $1.5 billion in sales in 2019. The hard seltzer market was estimated to be $4.5 billion in 2020 and is expected to grow to $14.5 billion by 2027, according to the Grand View Research. On top of all this, profit margins on alcohol are already extremely high, ranging from 60 to 70%. While White Claw launched in 2016, it wasn't until the summer of 2019 that they really blew up, thanks in large part to social media. Just like White Claw, it's likely Nelk's Happy Dad brand will really pick up through social media. Having already appeared to have their retail distribution figured out and a massive social media following, Happy Dad will eventually reach tens of millions of dollars in sales. Given Conor McGregor used his personal brand to grow and eventually sell proper $12 to $600 million, it's not far off to see Happy Dad eventually reaching a $100 million valuation on its own. As of right now, given the brand is only a few months old and still not even fully distributed across the United States and Canada, Nelk's hard seltzer brand likely holds a valuation of approximately $10 million. And it's not far off to see their Happy Dad brand pulling in at least $10 million in revenue in its opening year. In fact, having launched at the start of the summer, Happy Dad has already sold out in the stores across California. And by having a global audience, it's hard not to see Happy Dad eventually building global distribution and competing with the world's largest alcohol companies, such as Anheuser-Busch and Molson Coors. In the words of Kyle Forger, one of Nelk's original creators, YouTube money is pennies compared to building businesses like a seltzer. We could have a multi-billion-dollar business on our hands with this hard seltzer. Over the next 5 years, by following the footsteps of White Claw, Happy Dad may eventually become a $1 billion brand, proving just how powerful Nelk's brand is in creating new products for their fans. According to John Shahidi, the current president of Nelk Boys and Full Send, Happy Dad is just the first step towards what they hope will be an entire line of products and services. Having now looked at Nelk's entire Full Send portfolio, with their merchandise segment being worth at least $70 million, their media channels being worth $20 million, and then their alcohol brand being worth an additional $10 million, it's hard not to see their brand being worth at least $100 million at the present day value. Between their highly anticipated clothing drops, a huge following spread across their YouTube channel, Full Send Instagram page and podcast, plus a new alcohol brand, it's safe to say Full Send brand will easily continue to grow into a much larger valuation. In an interview with the New York Times, Kyle said, "With our audience, we can build pretty much anything. Maybe we start a men's grooming company. We could open Full Send gyms. We could do pizza delivery. Where Nelk goes from here is anyone's guess, but one thing is certain. They sure have exceeded the expectations of many people from when they first started back in 2010. As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for more business and investing related videos every week. And we will see you guys next time.